Welcome to Monday Media Review, where I review media on Monday to make your Monday better. This can be anything from movies to TV shows to video games to any kind of media in general. Today we're going to be looking at sitcoms from the early 2000s. We're going to be looking back at them to see if they aged well, and then we're also going to be rating them to see if they're still watchable to this day, if they aged really badly, or if they were just trash the entire time. And there's no real age limit. We're doing the ones meant for teens and kids and the ones meant for adults. Please leave a like on the video if you enjoy. It helps out a lot, and let's get into it.
Our whole universe was in a hot, dense state.
I was 3 years old when The Big Bang Theory was first released, but that didn't stop me from getting into it later on when I was older. The show is about a super genius dude named Sheldon. I think he autistic or something. I'm autistic too, so I can assume that. But it's not just Sheldon, he got a whole squad. The squad consists of his shy friend Raj, his roommate Leonard, his next door neighbor his next door neighbor Penny, his friend Howard, and Howard's girlfriend Bernadette, and Sheldon's future wife Amy. And honestly, in this sitcom, there's not a whole lot going on, at the very start at least. Just look at this promo photo. This shit looks like another generic sitcom about a typical group of millennial nerd friends, which that's exactly what this shit is in the first few seasons. And that's not me saying that the first few seasons are bad. That's some of the best Big Bang Theory ever. But the show is kinda just a lot of different characters with different tropes making jokes. Like Howard is a wannabe ladies man, a fake ass quagmire. Sheldon is super smart and likes to over explain things.
I believe the condensation on your frozen foods weaken the structural integrity of the bag.
Now, I'm not even gonna try to sit here and pretend that this didn't make me laugh, but it's more of a principle thing. At this point, even in 2007, all of the character tropes of the main characters were already worn out. Like, if you're a sitcom watcher guy, the first few seasons of The Big Bang Theory doesn't offer anything unique from any other old sitcom. But that's why you gotta watch the entire series as if you're watching a soap opera or something. We really get to watch these characters grow from the start of the series, like every single character. It progresses its story fully forward while still being a pretty fun and lighthearted sitcom. Although it can sometimes get rocky throughout its 12 seasons, I think that The Big Bang Theory is just an overall great show that you can turn on and watch at any time, even if you're not looking to laugh. The Big Bang Theory is good television. And also, young Sheldon takes place in another universe. I don't care what anyone says. That shit doesn't make any sense. Growing up, I watched Everybody Hates Chris so much that I can literally say every line of every episode from season 1 and 2 off the dome. The show is about this boy named Chris, who I guess is supposed to be very, very loosely based on Chris Rock. The show mostly follows Chris, but sometimes follows his little brother Drew and his annoying ass little sister Tanya, as well as his parents Rochelle and Julius. And that reminds me, just how down bad in the trenches was this family. And I get being frugal, I do. I've been in the trenches before as well. But how poor and low class do you have to be to learn the rates of spilt milk? I mean, just look at this dude. He actually mad over the milk that's spilled on the table, talking about it's 49 cents worth of milk.
That's 49 cents of spilt milk.
Like, look at this nigga. Is he the milk mercenary? Look how angry he is. That nigga like he gonna bite me. This dude was so frugal, he probably a dig through your dookie for corn bits. That's 0.2 cents of corn in this dookie. Somebody gonna eat this dookie. If you don't get your freaky ass on, Julius. The show is basically just about Chris struggling with being the oldest kid in a struggling household, being the only black kid at his school, and getting in trouble all the time. One of the main reasons I'm not a big fan of seasons 3 and 4 is because Chris barely gets in trouble. And I guess it's fair to say that because he's older in those seasons, he's already gotten in trouble for everything known to man, and now he knows how to carry himself. And instead of the gag being every episode his mom yells his name because he's in trouble, the gag is kinda just everything goes wrong for him now.
What I was saying was, I want you to get out of my field, and I want you to give me everything you got.
And don't get me wrong, in no way, shape, or form is seasons 3 and 4 bad. They're just not as good as seasons 1 and 2, in my opinion. I guess maybe I just feel like some of the characters didn't get the development they deserved. More or less, they just got older and that's their character development. But even with all that said, all of the characters are still really great. The commentary that Chris Rock does is fun, and a lot of the jokes can still get a laugh out of me. But don't forget, I know every line from season 1 and 2, so it's definitely a comfort show for me. I be watching it all the time. And if you haven't watched it, I'd 100% recommend you to watch it.
In 5, 4, 3, 2.
It's probably going to come as a shocker, but yes, I watched iCarly growing up. I really just enjoyed the plot of the show and like when the stuff happening and all that stuff and things. But for real, aside from Goddess Cosgrove, this show was really fun to watch as a kid, especially that first season. It was hella out of pocket. Dan Schneider freaky foot loving ass was getting brave in that writing room in season 1.
Except he doesn't have Miss Briggs' crazy pointy boobs. It's like she stuffs waffle cones in her bra. She can poke an eye out with one of those things.
This is episode 1. Episode 1 on Nickelodeon. How did Jabba the Hutt go so long under the radar like this? We should have known. And I'm sure she didn't have a big problem with it, but the actor who played that teacher that they're talking about had breast cancer in real life and was a survivor. This dude was a scumbag. Nah, not even a scumbag. This nigga is a grease bag. Aside from all that though, like I said, the show is pretty fun. It follows these 3 teenagers on their journey to stardom through their web show. You got Freddie, the cameraman producer guy, and then you got Sam and Carly, the 2 hosts. Together they are ICarly, because that makes all the sense in the world. There's also Spencer, who's important sometimes, and Gibby, who was a gag character up until they made him a main character for some reason. But man, this show is just not funny, and there's a lot of exceptions, but overall the show just isn't funny. And it was bound to age poorly anyway because it was meant for kids and teens, but it aged 2 times worse because of all the feet and ointment jokes and then all of the disgusting stuff that came out about Jabba the Hutt. Yeah, like I said, the show was fun back then, but I can't watch this shit and have a fun time now that I know what I know and I've read Jeanette McCurdy's book. It's just really hard to separate the drama from the show now. You literally can't watch this show and just have a good time without thinking about how Jeanette McCurdy was suffering. I loved it as a kid, so that's where we're gonna put it. We can't put it in age poorly because I feel like if a kid nowadays stumbles across it and doesn't know the background of it, they could enjoy it. And I'm not trying to drag it out or over exaggerate, but watching it nowadays just makes me feel really sick and disgusted. So yeah. Man, did anybody even actually watch this show growing up? I swear the only thing I see of this show is people being like, oh, I remember waking up at 3 a.m. to this show. Like, did y'all actually watch it? George Lopez is about the real life George Lopez, except it takes place in like another universe or something. He's not a comedian in this universe. Instead, he like the manager of an airplane plant factory. George Lopez squad consists of George Lopez, obviously, his wife Angie, his daughter Carmen, his son Max, his mom Benny, and his friend from work, Ernie. One thing to note is that I am not an avid fan of George Lopez. In fact, I had to go back and rewatch some of the episodes because I just didn't remember anything. One thing about this show though, it's fucking hilarious.
Why does she need to know how to swim? We're already here.
And don't even try to come for me in the comments. Oh, you picked the only racist joke. The only reason that joke was so super hilarious to me was because it caught me completely off guard when I started watching the show again. I wasn't expecting that kind of humor. And this don't even feel like a sitcom at times for real. It just feel like a funny ass regular TV show about a family. The show kind of goes back to those 90s sitcoms and tries to have some actual serious issues sometimes. And it does so without making you question what the fuck you're watching, like that one episode of Family Matters where there was a gun. Like, some sitcoms just aren't made for serious topics. This video basically helped me discover a hidden gem. I watched the first 2 seasons and I'm definitely gonna be finishing it, but this shit is amazing. I don't know why I didn't revisit George Lopez way sooner. This shit is like way better than every sitcom I've seen in the past 5 years. And this might be controversial since I haven't even finished the show, but I'm putting it in masterpiece. This is some good shit, man. George Lopez knew what he was doing with this show. It captures the era that it's in perfectly, and it does serious stuff well. And you can't forget that it's funny as hell. This is our tier list so far. We don't have nothing in age poorly or neither one of the trash sections. But of course, I do want to add some more to this. So if you want to see more of this, make sure to like and comment and let me know that you like it, and we'll do another part. All my links are down in the description. This has been Wolfgang with Monday Media Review. I hope if you having a bad Monday, you having a good Monday now. See you in the next one.